Hello, Gareth here, and today let's paint a sea scene. So I use a big sheet of paper and I use the lower bit as sometimes for another painting, sometimes as scrap paper. And this is what we're going to paint, and I'm just drawing around it to get the size of the picture. I can fit these into a small sleeve, which is very useful for reference. Okay, so we're painting a sea scene, and I've got my hake, and the first thing I'm going to do is the sky and the sea. So really I need to work out where my horizon line is, and I think it's about here, maybe a little bit higher. Now, if I was doing a professional painting, I would probably make these marks a little bit softer or just wipe them out a bit, but this is just a demo, so I don't really care, just to let you know that. So we're doing a really watery mix here, and then I'm just going to paint across like this. And I get this dry brush effect, and just bring this down, and I'm adding lots of water now, because as it comes down I want it to be fainter, misty at the bottom, and I want it to be a bit stronger at the top. So I hope you can see what I'm doing here, this mixing and dabbing on the rag. Okay, and I'm leaving some of this sparkle. There we go. And then I'm going to do the sea. So I just test this. Yeah, that looks pretty okay. Oh, very good. So nice, confident, sweeping strokes across fairly quickly. You can go over it again, especially if there's a big white gap, but that's okay. And you can also do these edges a bit, because really our lights may be here, so this is going to be the lightest bit, so we can do these edges, make that darker, this lighter, and then this area becomes the focal point. Like that, so that becomes the focal point. I hope that's clear. And there we go. I can see a pool of water there, so I wipe my brush, I get some tissue, dry it, and then just suck up this excess water, just dab it. It's a bit too dry and it's leaving a mark, so I have to try and get it the same consistency of water and pigment, and then just wipe over it. Now my brush is full of water here, it's going to make a big cauliflower, and we really don't want that. But if it's too dry, it's going to remove a big patch. Because it's faint, when it dries it won't actually show that much, but still don't really want that. There we go. Let's leave that to dry. Okay, now we're going to paint a mountain in the background. So this mountain is going to be very faint, so I need a very, very watery mix, and here we go. Yeah, And if it's not quite right, you can remix it here and then just go over the top. And I think I might do that. I might make it just a tiny bit stronger. You see that? And then just go over it like that. Now I'm going to have to speed up here because it dries fairly quickly. There we go. There's my mountain range. Now I bring it down to like a horizontal. Can you see that's horizontal? Then I wet my brush, then wipe it on my rag, and then I go across here. That's pure water, and slowly I blend it into this paint like this. Now let's leave that to dry. Okay, now we're going to paint an island, and in this painting I did two, but I think because we've got our light here and this is our focal area, I'm going to do just one so it doesn't compete. So I know I should do these background things as well, but I don't want to have something behind this. So I'm going to do this first and then add this later. So here we go. Let's see how it goes. So I need my mix to be stronger than this, but not the strongest mix because we have got a foreground bit here. And I'm going to do it slightly different to that. The island slightly different to this one, because from what I remember it actually had two fir trees on it, one here, a lot like these. So I'm going to do that. Okay, my mix is too watery. Maybe now it's okay. So this is going to be my rock shape. There we go, and then like that. And then let's work on the tree part. So coming down like this, one here, and just use my scrap paper. There we go. And then just do one more on the other side. Okay, try and keep this wet. There we go. Shouldn't really go over these actually, but it's not quite as dark as I wanted it. Okay, there we go. And I think that's basically it. And then here we're going to have just a few dark marks, another dry brush effect here, 1, 2, and that's enough. And maybe I might just indicate some ripples in this water. Here we go. That was a bit too many back there. That looks like another rock. Okay. Let's turn that into a rock then. And yeah, we need a lot of ripples here just to indicate this big piece of land. This big island. Yeah, that will do. And now we probably should leave this to dry, but I'm going to do a bit of the background. So we've just got some small island here, and I should really let this bit dry, because this touching this is not really so good, but I'm in a rush. And you can get away with it sometimes if this is still quite wet. It can just flood a bit into here and you can wipe up the excess paint. Okay, there we go. That will do. Now let's leave all that to dry. I'm just going to wipe here, wipe off there. I don't like that. It's too strong a mark. So fingers can be very useful to soften and to blend. There we go. Okay, now we're going to do this foreground, this bit here with these trees and these rocks. So I'm going to start with this bit first and then move up to that. I'm not sure if that's the best way. I'll have to try it the other way one day. But here we go. So I want quite a strong mix, but also because I might add shadows in later, it doesn't have to be super strong yet. Let's just test it down here. I think that's good enough, but I just need more of the mix. It really helps having a big mixing area like this. I actually don't take enough advantage of this. Okay, and here we go. So and I think that needs to be thicker. And then there's a bit more down here. Don't make them the same size. Once again, we need some variety if it is going to work well. And then just quickly here, some fast strokes, lovely rough edges, make it more interesting. And then what I'm going to do now here are the reflections in the water, like that. Shall I make this one big rock? And then that's one rock. That's not good. It's too similar. There, 2 rocks. Okay. So I might just add a few ripples that hopefully join these rocks together as a group. They're a cluster. There we go. I think that works. Now the tricky bit is doing these fir trees here. And so you don't want them coming out too far at the top here. I've done that mistake a few times. And you want them sort of thicker at the bottom than the top. Okay. And dries out very, very quickly. I'm going to join that almost. And I'm trying to keep these gaps, but not easy. Okay, I think that will do. And now this is still wet. I can dry it up a bit with my brush. Get rid of the excess. And then I'm going to use my fingernail to create highlights. I didn't quite like that shape. Needed to be a bit more irregular. Yeah, I think that's looking fairly okay. Really ideally I needed a few more little gaps in there, but there we go. It overall it worked. And now I'm just waiting for this to dry a little bit more. And then I'm going to scratch in some fingernail marks. Okay, so now I'm going to scratch in some marks. Too late here, this is already dried, but we can do this. Just create them like that. That works too. And we can even scratch into that. You just have to look at the paint, and if it's shining a lot like here, it's still a bit too wet. Here it's probably gone a bit too dry. The problem is that it's not all consistent. Some areas are wetter and some areas are drier, so you have to look carefully and gauge it well. Although saying that, once you do start, if you get it roughly at the right time, most of the marks should work quite well. And if they don't, I can show you something in a minute that will help you. So what we can do now, in case it's not quite as good as you wanted, is get some pigment, very thick now, and just do this. And then we can get those highlights. by adding these shadows. Ooh. Keep the brush hairs together. And that's working fairly well. I don't want to overdo it. That will do. I often do this. I say that will do, and then I continue to do a bit more. But there you go. Yeah, I think that looks very nice. So there you go. We've done a sea scene here, and we've done some islands and a very simple sky, but it works very well. Okay, bye for now, and have a go, and I hope it goes well for you and you have some fun. Happy painting.